Stellantis is healing, or at least it seems that way. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to an off-the-cuff discussion video. I haven't done one of these in a long time. It's the type of video where I yap and you maybe leave a comment down below telling me what you think. So let's get started. Why do I think that Stellantis is healing? First thing, we need to explain what Stellantis is. That is the giant automotive conglomerate that counts about 14 different brands, and it started as a merger between Fiat Chrysler and the PSA group from France, which is Peugeot rather. Went against my own rules there. Peugeot, Citroën, and Opel, and they're all together now, and they make loads of different versions of the same car, at least in Europe. We'll come back to that in a moment. And back in December, on December 1st of 2024, the CEO of Stellantis, Carlos Tavares, the former CEO, stepped down immediately. He was supposed to stay until 2026 because that's when his contract expired, but almost immediately after making that announcement, he stepped down effective immediately on December 1st, 2024, which was about a few months ago. And since his departure, Stellantis has been changing a fair bit. But first, let's have a look at what Tavares actually did, so we can get a little bit of a perspective going on here. So I never really paid attention to this too much. I mean, I've only been in this game with the automotive industry for a couple of years. I never really took notice, but I do know, and I've recently been made aware, that Tavares made some really strange and kind of stupid decisions. So from what I've seen on all the sources on the internet, I will link them in the description so you can have a read yourself. That's where I got the info for this video. Tavares' main focus was turning everything into an EV by 2030, like so many other automakers tried to do until it bit them in the ass, and then increasing profits and focusing mostly on profits and very little on the products themselves. Let's have a look at first what that means for the European market, because that's something that I'm much closer to and something that I am more active in, and then we're going to have a look at the US market as well, because those are the two main areas of function of Stellantis and the brands that are a part of Stellantis. So first things first, thanks to Tavares' strange leadership policies, we can now buy about 10 different cars that are on the same platform and use the same powertrains. So this includes the Peugeot 208, the Opel Corsa, those are ones you'd expect, and the Citroën C3. They're part of the PSA group. They were always part of the PSA group even before Stellantis happened for a while, so you kind of expect that. You'd expect a Peugeot, a Citroën, and an Opel to use the same platform. But then Tavares took it a step further. So now we have, well, there's the Jeep Avenger, which is based on the previous three cars that I mentioned. Okay, makes sense. Jeep really needed a car specific for the European market, so that's one decision I can kind of get behind. Then there's the Fiat 600. Same platform, same powertrains. The Opel Frontera that recently came out. The 7-seater compact crossover, if you can believe that. The Opel Mokka as well. That's based on the same platform. The Citroën C3 Aircross that's about to come out soon. That's based on the same platform. The Peugeot 2008 is also based on the same platform. And of course, there's the new Alfa Romeo Junior, which again, same platform, same powertrains. I think you can kind of see the problem here. There's, you know, all of these cars appeal to a different sort of buyer, but it's just a good example of Tavares' cost-cutting regimen. Make one platform, build 10 different cars on top of that platform with the same powertrains, give them slightly different designs, sell them at various different prices to appeal to various different people. And the problem with that is if you try to sell a luxury car, well, something that can classify itself as a premium, quote-unquote, vehicle, using components from much cheaper cars, it's going to be noticeable. I recently spoke to one of my fellow journalists here in Macedonia. He recently drove the Alfa Romeo Junior, and he tells me that it's a little bit plasticky on the inside. The Alfa Romeo Junior in Macedonia starts about $31,000. And let's not forget, shall we, that it's an Alfa Romeo, which is a premium brand. So that should give you an idea why we were annoyed with Tavares' decisions, us here in Europe. And there's also the fact that he put that hybrid 3-cylinder engine in literally everything, or any version of the 3-cylinder, a PSA Group PureTech for that matter. So just last year in 2024, I drove 4 different cars with that same engine. 4. And the best part is, they were all completely different from one another. Well, 2 of them were very similar, but still. I understand this whole thing again. I mean, other automakers have been doing this for years, you know, putting the same engine across multiple different models. The problem comes when you put a 136 horsepower engine in a big-ass 1.8-ton family SUV. It's just not going to work right. I mean, the Peugeot 3008, I drove that last year. I promised the video's coming eventually. I drove that last year, and the power was acceptable. And you know, when you're spending like 50 grand, you want the power to be a little bit more than acceptable. If you wanted hybrid power or just a regular gas engine, it was 3 cylinders or nothing. And then there's all the stuff he did in the North American market. Now, even though I work for websites that serve the North American market, I hadn't really been paying that much attention. But the main bit of news that was reported a few months ago by Road and Track and CNBC, apparently Tavares was the actual reason why Dodge discontinued the Hellcat and the Hemi V8. So it's safe to assume that he is also the reason why we got an electric muscle car in the form of the Dodge Charger Daytona, and why the Ram pickup and a bunch of other Stellantis vehicles are losing the Hemi V8 in favor of the Hurricane 6-cylinder. Now, granted, from what I've heard, the Hurricane 6-cylinder is a fantastic powertrain, but don't you think it's a bit odd that the previous CEO of Dodge, Tim Kuniskis, left Dodge a few months ago, and then like immediately after Tavares resigned, Tim Kuniskis came back? I saw a post on social media the other day saying that every single brand CEO of Stellantis is looking forward to the future now that basically, they didn't say that specifically, but they said that they're looking forward to the future with Tavares now gone. And, you know, recently I heard a rumor that the Ram pickup truck is going to get the V8 back now. The Dodge Durango has received extended production into 2025. So even though 24 was the last, technically supposed to be the last model year of the Durango RT and the Hellcat, you can now buy them again. The Durango RT and the Hellcat are rejoining the lineup for 2025. Obviously this year we're getting the Charger 6-pack with the Hurricane 6-cylinder. But I also heard a rumor somewhere, I'm going to try and find it and put it on the screen for you guys, that there might be a small possibility that the Dodge Charger Daytona is going to get the Hemi V8 as well at some point down the line. And I really hope it's not like a limited production thing. It'll just come back to stay in the lineup. Because I don't know if you heard, but the electric Dodge Charger can't do burnouts. And what the hell is the point of calling it a muscle car if it can't do burnouts, right? This is a sentiment shared by a lot of other journalists, but it's something I share as well. And I think the funniest example of how Stellantis has started to heal after Tavares' departure is a few months ago when I was still using Twitter. I don't use it anymore, but back then, literally a week after Tavares left, Stellantis started talking about their diesel engine that can run on vegetable oil. I think that sends a pretty clear message. And there's also the news recently that Peugeot apparently wants to bring back the GTI hot hatchbacks. They will still be electric, allegedly, which kind of sucks if I'm honest, but they still want to bring back the GTI brand, because under the leadership of Tavares, we got the 508 PSE, and that flopped spectacularly, and nothing ever came of that. And also Tavares wanted to slash the brands that don't really make a profit, but then kind of failed to introduce a product that would make a profit for them, or try to increase the brand recognition. It was a really strange time for Stellantis, but now things seem to be going in a much better direction, and things seem to be a bit more hopeful. We can also add to this the fact that the automotive industry and consumers have backpedaled on electric cars significantly. It is now the time for small electric cars to shine bright, but as a general rule, the industry is, you know, they're backpedaling on electric cars, and everybody wants to extend the life of the internal combustion engine, and Stellantis is following suit as well. The most recent news that I heard, the good news that came from Stellantis, and something that personally made me say, okay, we gotta make this video now, was the fact that the next Alfa Romeo Stelvio and Giulia will have gas engines. Previously, we were told time and again that the Giulia and the Stelvio would become electric cars, and that Alfa Romeo would transition into a full EV brand by 2027. That's not happening. The Stelvio and the Giulia will both receive a version of the Hurricane 6-cylinder, allegedly. Disappointingly, it's not going to be the Ferrari-derived V6 that's in the Quadrifolios, probably, but it's something, right? It's some good news, something to look forward to. And we're actually going to see that new Stelvio later this year. I heard that it will resemble the Junior a fair bit, which I'm not that excited about because I'm not the biggest fan of the way the Junior looks, but still, something to look forward to. Stellantis is healing, so there we go. Stellantis appears to be healing, and now it's time for them to focus on actually selling quality products, because here's another thing that I didn't mention earlier. The American contingent of Stellantis was losing sales a lot during Tavares' tenure, and I read about that on social media as well, and I read some comments like, how do you stop people from buying the Jeep Wrangler, you know, one of the biggest off-roaders on the market, and it just started losing sales for no reason. And there's, of course, all the other stuff that Tavares made all the American executives have meetings in the middle of the night, and they were constantly bickering with one another. I guess it's the European dislike towards Americans doing its thing here, but basically what I'm getting at here is Stellantis is healing, and I think that they are not completely fucked just yet. There's still hope left in Stellantis to turn itself around completely and become super profitable and sell some good products. Oh, I almost forgot. Remember that Maserati was supposed to release an electric version of the MC20? Cancel. It's been a while since I've heard of a car being outright canceled, but there we go. The MC20 Folgore has been canceled. So again, that should probably make it clear where we stand right now with Stellantis, and I think that now there's a much brighter future ahead of it, and if they figure out what they're doing and if they start doing the right things, we could see some pretty awesome stuff from Stellantis going forward. And that's going to be about it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to subscribe to the Guessing Headlights newsletter. I'll put that in the description. Yes, that's the world's worst segue into a special announcement. So recently I started working for an awesome new automotive website called Guessing Headlights. We're trying to grow the brand right now, so I would really appreciate it if you just went and clicked on that link in the description and had a little read at some of our content. And if you're lucky, you might even encounter a post written by me. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, back to the outro. Thank you everybody for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Again, let me know what you think of this situation in the comments below, and don't forget to follow the community tab for updates on upcoming videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.